looks. Like, that's the Nikocado Avocado, right? I've already done a video on it in the past, so we're going to watch a bit of it and see how it looks, because but the internet's blowing up because Nikocado Avocado lost all the weight. Now, people don't even know if he did. They don't even know if they believe it, but this is Nikocado Avocado 7 months ago.
I'm going to do my Walmart inventory check. And if you are a mother, that means you make milk. And if you make milk, you are a cow. Moo! Oh. Jeepers creepers. Are you a cow, Matilda? Are you a shrimp, Miranda Thrimp? Are you a cow, Bessie Harris? You are a cow, you Lady Heidi.
Another mukbanger eating himself to death, but there's a bigger story behind it, so I'll show it you in a minute.
The whole thing.
Click the link below.
So today, though, all of a sudden, like 17 hours ago, and this is the problem for me now, is like, I've told you, I'm also going to show you Naked and Laughing and King Cobra having a row, or whether that video is up on the internet or not, I don't know, because apparently he pulled a gun. And I've seen him pull a gun on it before. So, but this now is in now.
My entire life. 2 steps ahead. I am always 2 steps ahead. This has been the greatest social experiment for my entire life. It's alluring, it's compelling, it's gripping to observe all these unwell, disoriented beings roam the internet in search of stories, ideas, rivalries, where they feel encouraged and engaged, where they involve themselves with the stories.
All right, we'll discuss that. You see, I can't listen to his 20-minute video here, but there he is, look. He's lost all the weight now. He's skinny again. So what he said that he's done, and I think he has, we'll show you, we'll talk, is that he recorded 7 months worth of videos, or 2 years worth of videos. Like, it's been over a year and a half or something. He got himself into this state. He recorded years worth of videos. He uploaded them all a week at a time. So, like, 1 week he could record 7, 12, 14 videos, yeah? And he uploaded them once a week to span them out. You want to go out now? What's the point? He uploaded them once a week to span them out. She wants me to go out on the drive and chase cats around. So, the worst state he was in there, the time has elapsed, you haven't seen him doing the dieting, and then he's just turned up skinny to prove a point. And people are like, is it real? Yes, it's real, I think. Looks like a different person, yeah. Well, I'll show you something. Check this out. I don't know how this is going to go, because like, I wanted to do this as a proper video, but I'm like, you know, I'm just bouncing ideas now. I've got it on my history. It's my own fucking video, I should be able to find it. Hang on. It's only a 20-minute video, my video as well. There you go, here's my video, look. The thumbnail is Fat Jesus, look. Fat Jesus with all this stuff in his mouth. With the Nikocado Avocado is a genius, and I will tell you why. This is 2 years ago, bear in mind. And the thing is, everyone's going to be talking, oh, Nikocado, oh, it's changed, Nikocado's had a change, oh my god. And I want to come out with a video that says, I fucking told you so. I fucking told you so. This is back when we did, we had Patreon, and when we were moving over, like, it's when I first started streaming, really, 2 years ago, this video, though, yeah. Maybe not when I first started, but yeah. Right.
Hi, you're with Scott. This is Ganja Kid, the stream. It's midnight, it's always midnight. This is your right ear, and this is your left ear. We're going to start with the controversial YouTube drama, Nikocado. I can't say that. Charlie here is basically saying Nikocado Avocado is killing himself for views. And the premise is that Nikki Avocado, the premise is that Nikocado Avocado is doing all these mukbang videos, eating a lot of food, and that the people are watching all the videos, they're buying his t-shirts, and so he's doing more videos and eating more food. The end point is that he's going to die, it's unhealthy, and he's doing it for views, and that's kind of bad. I'm not here to say what everyone else is saying, that Nikocado Avocado is making himself fat and it's bad, and he's doing it for views and it's bad. I'm here to say something slightly different. So stay here and wait to hear what I've got to say about this.
God, I need to improve. Like, we're a minute in, and I have laid it out for you, but I could have done that so much quicker. I kind of want to put myself on 1.5 speed.
Have a little look.
Thankfully, I did improve a little bit, but like, it's just who you are, isn't it, Scott?
Someone who is in the process of eating himself to death for YouTube views. There he is, he's in bed with all the food. All the fast food there. There's an even more special element to it, is that he was a vegan, like quite a normal looking.
Look at this, hang on. Firefox, you can't see it properly. Firefox. Check this out. On his thumbnail. Look, he was that skinny boy. He was that skinny boy before, and he's a vegan, and he's got a bird there, and he's got a point to make. Check this out.
Maybe, you know, he had his own issues with food. Who knows? He says he did. I'm not here to judge what he... Anyway, Nikocado Avocado started out as a vegan, right? And has gone down this road of what seems to be really unhealthy, dangerous, mukbang, eating videos. That's where we've got to today. I think Nikocado Avocado, I think you're all being really mean to him. I think these people are being really mean to Nikocado Avocado. This, a cry for help, that's mean. That's mean, a cry for help. He knows what he's doing.
He's been stuffing his face, he's been feeding himself these foods every day that he knows will eventually, if he keeps eating it, lead to an early death. But because getting him views and clout, he's going to keep going and doing it.
You've missed the point. Nikocado Avocado is a genius. Nikocado Avocado is a genius. And I will tell you why. Look at this t-shirt he's got on here. It's your fault. One of the t-shirts he's marketing to the people who watch him on the YouTube. It's your fault. There's a little message there. Nikocado Avocado, in my opinion, and this is just my humble opinion, is an absolute genius. Nikocado Avocado is a performance artist. Nikocado Avocado is a genius performance conceptual artist.
I fucking called it. Look, I called it. He wasn't just eating himself fat like the other fat people that are like, you know, just like Foodie Beauty wants to have a cake, so she just keeps eating them. Like, you know, like, sorry, that was being very facile about the whole situation, but you know what I mean? He wasn't, though. Like, Nikocado Avocado was a performance artist, and he's proved it here, hasn't he? Like, you can live the thing, but you have to pull the rug at the end, and like, he's done it very elegantly, I think, yeah.
Ways that permeate.
Well, not elegantly with this video. This video is a bit creepy, actually, but yeah, definitely a performance artist, though.
Let's investigate. This is Following Piece by Vito Acconci. I think it's Acconci. I'm not a great pronunciator of names. Look, what happened in Follow Piece, this is in the 60s, mind you, he went following people around, and he took some photographs of him following the people around, and he mapped.
Please note as well, this is recorded from a Twitch stream from years ago now, and there's only like one person in my chat. There's a load more of you now. Like, it takes a bit of time to work your way there, doesn't it? But you get there, like, hard work and all that, but nothing much has changed.
Out the routes on a map and wrote down his notes about what happened, how he maintained eye contact with them until they went into eye contact, like they could see, like maintained so that he could see them until they went to a private place, and then he abandoned his following and followed these people to their places from one initial. He did just some following.
Not doing a good example there, am I, of describing things? I'm saying this guy, this artist called Vito Acconci, made a piece called Following Piece, where he followed people around in the streets, and it was performance art, and I explained the performance art and the idea of conceptual performance art.
And of the artist that does the arranging, or is art a great big bowl of noodles? In terms of the scheme, and so he said, I'm almost not an I anymore. I put myself in the service of this scheme. A transcript lays out the terms of the scheme, and the photo collage documents several of the actions. So what he said was, he's not eye anymore. Conceptual art is about the art being more than the medium. Is art the paint? Or is it the canvas? Is it the way the paint is arranged on the canvas? Is art in the hand of the artist that does the arranging? Or is art a great big bowl of noodles that you shovel into your face in repeated YouTube videos and uploads as you get increasingly more obese? Is that art? I think it is. Performance was a big part of the conceptual art movement, performance art. And one of these performance artists was this fellow, Vito Acconci, and he did this performance of following people. You can't own it or capture it. He told you it happened, and he wrote and did a little report, but the art was the bit when it was happening, the feelings that were going on, and you know, that was it. And therefore to these standards, I believe Nikocado Avocado is a brilliant performance artist. I am almost not an I anymore. I put myself in the service of the scheme. So we're talking about identity, we're talking about who we are, and abandoning that because the art requires that we are a mechanism, a tool of the concept of the art.
Look, I'm talking about highbrow concepts here, about abandoning your identity in service of the art and becoming the art and having to fully live it in this way. And you're saying about my ginger hair in the video. It's one of those balayage dyes. I used to dye it green and stuff. You like my hair? Or you don't like my hair? It's alright, it's the past.
So we have to follow through. We have to be the art, we have to live it. Can't pretend. If you're going to do it, you're going to make that statement, you have to live it. You can see this by the fact he's wearing this t-shirt that says, "It's your fault." He's ironically aware of exactly what's going on. He's drawing it. We've already managed to find out from Penguins and the other people that he's getting fat and that it's making him dangerously overweight and unhealthy, and he's getting a lot of YouTube views for it. That's not the end of it though. The end is further in sight when he might even die. And
I don't think he... Well, obviously he had a different ending in sight, didn't he? I thought he might follow through and eat himself to death, but instead he lost all the weight to prove the point that you can just switch that off, and well, he can switch and go back to his... He was always trying to prove this point. We'll see more in this video, but what I'm trying to say there, and I do seem a bit condescending a little bit, don't I? Well, not condescending, but like everyone in YouTube at the time was saying Nikocado Avocado is really fat, and like, oh, it's bad that he's fat, or you know, and like, you know, he's doing it deliberately for clout. But I was trying to point out that it's more and it's deeper than that, and I think I was right. And this isn't like, the story is really he lost the weight, not Scott told you so. But Scott did tell you so. Let's see if I did tell you so, or let's see how, because I feel like I was like on this years ago, but I don't know if I came to the same conclusion that he would lose all the weight.
It is your fault because you are feeding it and views and buying the t-shirts, and he's made a big point and a big statement, and there's a big art piece that is therefore created, but he has to follow through. Look at him there. Look, he's not hugely overweight and obese, but he's in a place where lots of other people are.
That's at the start of his journey. As a vegan, he was interested in these obese people eating loads of junk food on the internet, so he decided to become one, and he started out at the Heart Attack Grill with this lady.
And they go there because they revel in their obesity, and what you get at the Heart Attack Grill is lots and lots of fried, super fried, double fried, really bad for you food. The Heart Attack Grill is a concept restaurant. John Basso clearly wanted the restaurant to make the news and to create a conversation about obesity. Well, it definitely made the news anyway. Just a little push from where we are now, not far from where we are now, is such a grotesque version of life that we should see it for what it is and abandon it completely. Instead of trying to sell loads of fried and greasy food to happy fat people, what the guy that runs the Heart Attack Grill is trying to say is, don't come in here and eat like this because it's going to kill you. And it has killed people. There have been deaths because of the Heart Attack Grill, but it's a concept restaurant. And of course, people who don't quite aspire to that higher concept just revel in the gluttony and enjoy it and become part of... They're almost like part of the scenery, but they're prepared to pay to be in there, to be part of this joke played on them, but not really at their expense, but for their benefit, so they can say, oh, hang on, look, if this looks just like the burger restaurant down the road and it's this bad for me, the burger restaurant down the road is only not quite, but it's still quite bad for me. I get the thing now. Maybe I should not go in any of these burger restaurants, and live a healthier life. That's the message of the Heart Attack Grill, if you can get it. If you can get it. And that's art, isn't it? That's a piece of conceptual art. Here is, of course, a younger Nikocado Avocado abandoning veganism and entertaining the concepts and joys, sorrows, greeds, gluttonies of the Heart Attack Grill with someone who is making money off something that he, maybe as a vegan, money and success off something that maybe he as a vegan didn't aspire to, or maybe he thinks he's quite negative as a young vegan. So maybe, I'm going to say maybe, look, I'll answer your question now, does he consider himself an artist? The true artist can never out himself.
It's interesting as well that, like, I saw you saying in chat about whether he had a Zempic or not, like, whether or not he did, before he entered down this road, he was a vegan, quite, you know, you can see it in his previous videos, like, quite skinny. Like, I think his chosen preference is to eat healthily, and then he's done this as an art project, like as a have to fully go that way and live it art project. And I think there must have been times where he was eating this food, consuming these calories, and not enjoying it as much as he made out in the videos sometimes. Obviously gluttony can be fun, but I don't think it was that hard for him to switch off and want to go back to a person that he saw himself as before, a more, you know, more him person. I think he always has been that person trapped. You know, when they say there's a thin person trapped inside a fat person, I think he trapped himself inside a fat person deliberately. So taking off that outer shell of fat person was easier for him because he's going back to who he really is. He wasn't as attached, like, you know what I mean? He's not really in that, you know what I'm saying, yeah? But, like, yeah.
He can't out himself. It would spoil the art. You can't shatter the illusion if you're the magician. He needs to go to his grave with everyone believing that he abandoned veganism and chose to just eat himself to death for views and money. And
that's the difference, is I thought he would literally go all the way and, like, you know, eat himself to death so that, like, people would say, well, look how terrible it is to do what he did. Wasn't it better when he was a vegan? You know, that's the point he's making, isn't it? Look how bad this is. Look how people give me money for it. Look how terrible the internet is because they will pay money for it. And, you know, look at how bad it all is. Like, highlighting it all by being the worst example of it. Like, by being such a screaming, massive example of it. Like, creating all that conversation. And then I thought he was going to follow through to the nth degree and be, like, you know, a very, very notable death from it. But instead, he's made another very striking point instead. So, like, fair play for doing this instead, I suppose. But I should have spotted that, eh?
a few clicks, and that he enjoyed reveling in the gluttony. When the truth, I know the truth, is that he feels disgusted by it, but not ashamed of it, because he's making this greater point and becoming a greater thing. That his identity.
And this is important as well, I suppose, is that with the other lol cows like Foodie Beauty, she is ashamed of some of her, you know, more negative aspects, but he was going to show the world all the negative aspects of it, wasn't he? Like, you know, he like would wear that CPAP machine with pride, sort of thing. So
that he's put himself in the service of the scheme, and he's no longer whoever that kid was. He's no longer whoever that kid was. Now he's this other thing, Nikocado Avocado. Now he's this, and this thing will die like Jesus to spread a different message across, you know, to show a thing. Imagine the stories when he dies. Imagine what they're going to say about it, the message. Yeah, he's dying for this. He's put himself on the crucifix of fast food. Yeah, actually, I am actually saying that. Yeah, Nikocado Avocado is basically fat Jesus. He's fat Jesus. That's what I'm saying. I think he's brilliant for this. I think he's a brilliant, clever, interesting person. I'm not dissing him for getting really obese and unhealthy. And I'm not body shaming people. It's not about body shaming, it's about what's healthy and unhealthy. So I don't think it's fair for me as a socially conscious person to be like, oh, you look at how good you look. It is unhealthy, so I'm going to call that as it is. Right. I'm not saying healthy people to see the game. How far he's prepared to go to make the point. It might be a mental health issue.
I need talking in chat.
It's bad for you, isn't it? So by setting a really bad example and making the people around me feel really bad, would it make them question their choices?
I put a little editing in this last bit.
You're like, this is bad for you, isn't it? So by setting a really 20 burgers after 10 years of abstinence, or do you know what I mean? And then that video would like get a logarithm.
Do you know what? This is interesting. I remember what I do in this bit. I put a little edit into this bit, and I try and make a point with the edit, and it circles back around to what we were talking about on Not to Watch yesterday about Bevo and about Paul Arnott, and about believing things on the internet and believing characters on the internet and people living as characters on the internet, and the difference between the character you see on the screen, especially with people who make vlogs and short burst content instead of like sitting and talking to you extensively like we do on streams. That reality of their character or who they present themselves as, the difference between them. This is a really good point I make here about this, so check this out.
On YouTube, wouldn't it? And then you'd be like, oh, what's Scott doing now? And people would be like, oh, you're doing this is bad for you, wouldn't they? You'd be like, this is bad for you, isn't it? So by setting a really bad example and making the people around me feel really bad, would it make them question their choices and what they're eating and their lifestyle? Would setting a really bad example gain more traction on YouTube, gain more views, and eventually change more lives for the better? Make people think, oh, I'm not going to eat that rubbish, maybe I should go vegan. Look, he started as a vegan and he looked quite healthy, now look how he's ended up. If setting a good example wasn't getting the views, would setting a bad example gain more attention? I guess that is the point of what we're talking about here. That question has both been asked and in a way answered by Nico. Of course, it's a very brave and kind of foolish thing to do. It's not something I would do. I want to make a note on intent. But wait, he's not really an artist, is he? He's just a person surfing the logarithm for clicks. It's no deeper than that. Does that matter? Does it matter if you know who the artist was and what was their intent? Or does it just matter that the work makes you feel and think a certain way? That's a different conversation. How can we measure intent? Do we measure intent by the things people tell us? That might be naive, mightn't it? Just to believe the people are doing the things they tell us. Maybe they've got different motives. Maybe it's best to judge someone on their actions. So if you're going to judge me and say, oh, he's an idiot, look, he thinks it's art and it's not art, it's just this, this and this, and I've got my opinions and my opinions and my opinions. Judge me on this. Do I really think he's an artist? Well, yes, of course I don't. Well, yes, of course I don't. I hope you can see that things might not always be as they seem on a YouTube video. You need to look deeply. You need to look deeply and be careful of who you're going to be moist critical of.
Moist, because it all started because Moist Critical did a video about Nikocado and propelled him into the limelight again. So, yeah, that's my video about that. So I did call it, didn't I, in a way? Although I thought that he was going to eat himself to death instead of losing the weight. But now he's lost the weight. So, Nikocado Avocado, come on down.
So I am the villain. Because I've made myself one. And you will continue to consume these stories about me year after year after year.
He's been really fucking weird in this video. Again, I think playing a character, not playing his true self, like playing a character now, knowing how this is going to get a big reaction. I wonder if his oldest stuff is still on here. Yeah, look, like there's an old video where I'm no longer a vegan YouTuber, but actually his oldest stuff I don't think is on here, like the previous stuff about being a vegan YouTuber. I think that's gone. But he used to be there with like a bird and vegan, and it was back in it was back in these vegan days, like of Durian Rider and the big vegans on YouTube. But look at him, like he's a younger version. And obviously a skinnier version, and he's got the bird, look.
Well, Orlin specifically has made videos saying, look, I disagree with what Durian Rider had to say about gay people, and I think it's wrong, even if you're just doing it to troll or attention. There comes to a point where it's too much, and that's something I stood by in the comment section. So anyways, yes, I did borrow someone's bike to go up just once, just to do it, just to feel
So he's talking about Durian Rider, the vegans, all that stuff, and like you can see he's a younger, thoughtful person, yeah? And so his journey into this Nikocado Avocado thing, it's why he's called Nikocado Avocado and not like Nikocado Fatty Boombati or whatever, is he was always a vegan principled person, and then he decided to give up veganism and eat himself into a fucking state, yeah? And like I just made the point in my video, I think this was a decision. So they're questioning whether he really has lost the weight or whether it's an old video or something. No, it's not. It's not a 7-year-old video. Like, it took him a while to get that fat. Look, that's 7 years ago. He's on it though. He's not giving up. He's doing it, and he gets more views like doing this stuff than he did on his little vegan channel, like talking about vegan things. He definitely gets more views doing that. He becomes what people believe is just a mukbanger, like doing, like at the time there were lots of them, like making the money this way, like, you know, a great example of a mukbanger. And then obviously the weight starts to pack on, and his character changes as well. Like he starts to, like, there's I'm getting fat and I don't know why. Like, and what he starts to do is he starts to, like, guys, just water weight, and, like, you know, make all funny comments and weirdness about it. And he starts to bring the weight in as a feature on this, on his, like, you know, it's not just that he's eating the food anymore, it's also a bit of dramatics and a bit like, and he acts as this overly dramatic character. And then he starts to hang out with some of these other quite notable people. They go to the Heart Attack Grill there, like, and he keeps packing it on, you know, he keeps doing it, he keeps packing it on. Now we're still 7 years ago here, you know, he's a prolific content creator, but it's a long journey. Like, we're talking about 7 years, and there you can see another great example, like, you know, him starting to change, and the content starts to change as well. Like, during this time, this is 6 years ago now, this is where the drama and the weirdness starts to happen. Look, all crying, the reason my husband left me, I've had enough. And, like, you know, is this all just scripted nonsense? Because, like, screaming and crying, looking obese, like, it became a bit of a feature, like going around Walmart, kicking up a fuss, riding around on a mobility scooter, kicking up a fuss, like being a dramatic character though, like a dramatic character. And ex-husband crying, you know, it keeps, there's another one, I can't be with him anymore, crying. Like, it keeps evolving and developing into this ever more abstract and dramatic character. So, like, this is 4 years ago now, and, like, now people are starting to say, like, look at him, he's getting quite fat, and it's, you know, etc. But like, he keeps going with it, you know, he keeps packing on. And also, it's interesting that he keeps turning up with her as well.
I'm alive, you guys. I have me.
Like, look at the difference. You know, that's 3 years of heavy eating on YouTube has made. But he keeps turning up with this one, who's quite a famous one. And it's almost like you can see his change matched against her. Like, you know, it's like she's his target in a way. You know, and then this is 2 years ago. Oh, all this tacky stuff, all these thumbnails that were very popular with a certain, like, you know, sort of Fortnite generation. Like, you can see why these thumbnails are popular, can't you? But it's not just food anymore, is it? It's like 3 years ago here, it's big piles. Like, this is where he gets, like, it becomes like the final form almost. And it's like these giant piles of, like, strange fast foods and elaborate, dramatic thumbnails. And, like, there's always like this feature theme as well of, like, these crisps turn, like, this one was a classic, 4 million views on that. Look at it, it's a giant big pile of blue crisps, isn't it? And, like, he's clearly playing a character here. Like, he might be overweight, but he can walk.
Now, that's fat privilege.
This is debilitating and embarrassing.
This is debilitating.
It's a medical mystery.
Yeah, it's just water.
It's a.
See what I mean? He's just, like, obviously playing a character, and they pile up all the food.
I am very good at lying. Lots.
And then he eats it, and obviously he doesn't just eat it though. He eats it like an animal, like, for entertainment. Look.
All right, you guys, I'm gonna press the timer, and we are gonna do the Matt Stoney challenge. We're gonna have to eat all of this in 10 minutes.
Now, I think in reality, if he's started as a vegan, he might have spent 3 years eating junk food, but you can't sit down to this and say, this seems like a great dinner, I'm looking forward to it. No one can. Like, even if you enjoy crisps, like, this isn't the way to enjoy them, is it? So I think there's a possibility that he is not enjoying it as much as he performs it, if you know what I mean, yeah?
It's... Go on, beanbag. Hurry up. Shh. Hurry up. Okay, here we go. Start. Oh my gosh, I'm nervous. Here we go. Faster. Oh no. Faster than a beanbag in a hurry.
You're never gonna be You're never gonna be as good as Matt Stoney. You're never gonna be as good as he is. Yeah, you are never gonna. Just because you eat like him doesn't mean you're as good as him.
I'm gonna.
No one does that. Why are you dipping that in water? Okay, you're always telling them that you're drinking a lot of water. Then why do you have fake kidney stones if you're drinking so much water all the time?
You're wasting my time. I do drink a lot of water, but I also got kidney stones. Both can be real.
Yeah, just like your real weight loss story. Or like all those New Year's resolutions that never come true.
I need to sit down. Okay.
No, it's not even a normal mukbang, is it? He's obviously like just like fucking about. Yeah.
Keep be doing it again.
And to the point where he never eats all the food in these later videos. Like he's not even interested in finishing the food. Look.
You are out of control.
Stop. Wow, I just failed the shot. 10 minutes. 2, 1. 10 minutes.
Like, he just doesn't care about eating the food. It's all about creating this sensational show out of being a big fat truffer, and like it's all about I'm doing the big show, yeah. So that was his show, yeah. And then he went a bit quiet, to be fair. Like, so we didn't like that was a year ago, that one, and then 10 months, 7 months. 18 hours, but he has got other channels. I think he's been uploading shorter videos on other channels, but I don't follow it that closely. But like, he went a bit quiet, but he prepared content for a year and a half. So some of this apparently is a year and a half. Like some of this stuff is chronologically, prepared and then uploaded over time. I don't know how much of it. I assume that when he got into this phase with the Takis and the Cheetos and this, like, he would have actually been capitalising by making a lot of videos and uploading them, because this was the time when he was not as prolific, but he was getting big views on these videos. But maybe he could have recorded, 2 or 3 of these a week and then uploaded them 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. That really does start to stretch it out. So, and then we get today.
Permeate and linger and infect the minds of the ants. Influence the ants. Brainwash the ants. You are the ants.
But this is still a character.
Today,
almost like, I think he must have looked at people like, well, I obviously looked at those artists in that video to try and reference the ideas of what he was doing, but I didn't reference people like Warhol or, I mean, who's even a more famous performance artist? There are, like, serious performance artists, but like there are artists out there that you see them, like, it's almost like a cross, the Gaga. Gaga's another great example. He was young and gay at the time of Gaga. Like, someone who is a character, not and more than themselves, because they're a character, if you know what I mean. And so I don't think you're ever going to see the real Nikocado ever again. Like he did show you when he first got started being a vegan YouTuber. But I think deep down in there he's still that principled vegan. But he realises that for him YouTube is a different thing altogether than just talking about things from the heart and being himself. This is a space for him to be a sort of Gaga-esque complete character. Like,
I woke up from a very long dream.
Oh yeah, this is the same person. Yeah, that's the whole point of this. He has eaten himself into the state on YouTube. One of those, like, I would have covered him like Foodie Beauty and the others, but he, I just showed you his content. It's just too much, isn't it? It's obviously all overacted. And also, I believed he was a performance artist the whole time, and I didn't realise he was going to lose all the weight and prove it in that way. I suppose that's the better way to prove it, because I thought he was going to eat himself to death, and then, like, in his will or something, it was going to say, it was always a joke, you stupid people, don't copy me, this is how it ends up, But instead of that, he's shown that he can get into that state and take himself out of it as well. And there's another story there which I think is going to be even more interesting. Like, he's entered into the realm of someone who can, like, he can go on big podcasts now and just talk about his journey instead of having to make YouTube videos of his journey, if you know what I mean. He's had the millions of views, and he's probably made enough money at this point to say, like, he doesn't have, like, it's a weird one, because when you're riding high on YouTube getting millions of views for whatever it is you're doing, and he was doing this, like, it must be quite hard for him to turn away from that. He had merchandise and collaborations and TikTok and all of this, yeah. So he was making big money, like, certainly definitely was. And, like, to his credit, I think he's decided to not, like, he might make big money in the future, he might do different things. I mean, this video has obviously got 11 million views in 18 hours, so he's probably made a good choice here. But, like, it must be quite hard to sort of say, okay, I'm in this position now, if I keep making these videos I can expect to make a good living, Not forever, but for now, it's going well, sort of thing. So with YouTube, what you would tend to do is you would push that. I mean, he didn't even let it die off, if you know what I mean. Like, people still, if he hadn't done this weight loss journey and carried on doing this, people would still probably be watching in the relatively big numbers on his channel. Like, usually YouTubers would try and parlay that into something else, or when it starts to die off, make a difference, make a change. But instead, he's ducked out when he's at his high, which is a very art thing to do, isn't it? Big ups the Doddy Dot. Big ups Doddy. Like, it's a very interesting thing, isn't it, to me? Well, it is to me anyway, son. And that's, again, why I believe that he actually is doing this as an art piece rather than a... Yeah, anyway, yeah.
Permeate and linger.
But all this whispering and doing this weird shit, like pretending to be a Bond villain, like, no, I think you shouldn't do that. I think you should just talk normally.
And infect the minds of the ants.
So I'm going to skip this bit. Because he does this, he brings the bird back in. I don't know if he's had the bird in the Nikocado, like in the fat era, but bringing the bird back in, I think, is a symbol of his veganism. He's always had that bird, he's always taken care of it. They live a long time, these birds. So I assume that is the bird. And so that was like in his original videos, I'm a vegan, I've got my lovely bird, we don't want to hurt, the world, we want to be nice. And like, he's still got that bird, hasn't he? So like, it's like he's gone back to himself now.
Oh.
But it's a new version, isn't it? Look. It's a new version. It's definitely not an old video, this. He's definitely not, like, 7 years ago recorded this. Like, there's people are looking to see if they can see any signs, like, has he got skin, or they were looking at the date on the milk in one of his videos and stuff. This is modern filming with modern cameras. It's not 7 years old. It's not 6, 5, 4 years old. This is today's recent upload, and within a year, it's like his same kit, his same setup as he normally uses, the angle, the camera, like the format, and the bird itself is older since those years ago. Like the feathers are different. I think this is just exactly what's happened, and this is who he is now. Whether this is 2 weeks ago that he's filmed this or a month ago, I can't determine that, but reasonably this is who he is. And I think for Nikocado Avocado, like I said, some YouTubers in his position with the big videos might have said, right, I've got loads of video views, I am Nikocado Avocado, I'm getting millions, where's my chuffing tobacco, there it is, I'm getting loads of video views, now's the time to try and get on, I don't know, a documentary, or become a TV presenter, or release an album, or, do something to capitalise and maybe move yourself into a space that's slightly more sustainable. Because although YouTuber, influencer, whatever you call it, some people like to say influencer, I think to be an influencer you have to sell products, but that position is like the end goal for some people. A lot of them that find themselves into that then pivot, leverage, do something to, like, they might invest in a business. Asmongold, for example, sells computers. He has a computer making company. If you get really big, I suppose it's, my point is that, midway on your YouTube success like that, if you can do that, you can move into something more sustainable. A lot of them do, and it's a way of being successful, yeah? And instead of doing that, he's done this instead, hasn't he? I'm losing my train of thought now. The moles on his face seem to match. It's 100% him, in my opinion. He's just lost a load of weight in a short amount of time and kept it secret so he could do this big reveal. But yeah, so my point was going to be, like, did he make a mistake to do this? And I think no. I think this is going to be far more, like, it's going to get him so much more attention than just being a fat mess on YouTube did. Like, that's already got him the attention. Now he's going to get more. And it reminds me of this artist, I'm thinking of Warhol, but I'm thinking there's another one as well, who did this sort of like 3-step reinvention, like, phase of their career, and was like suddenly new and reinvented, and everyone saw them again and was like, wow. Like, I think it propels him into another status where he can now go on, like I was saying, podcasts, like he could do the Joe Rogan podcast and talk about this, couldn't he? Something like that. But also, like, mainstream might pick up on this. Man loses hundreds of pounds in internet hoax scam that takes 7 years to pull the wool over his viewers' eyes and prove that, there's a lot here, and it will be talked about for years and years to come as well, I think. Certainly on the internet it will. And we don't know what he's going to do next. Like, a lot of people are now looking at him and saying, what's he going to do next? Because this video is a bit weird in itself, look.
You look like a big green ball. Yeah, you look like a big green avocado.
But he drops that that. He drops all that act, and he sort of you can feel like that's who he is now. Himself is a bit more like this. And it must be difficult. I mean, you don't see him all the time on those videos. You know, those videos are just an act for a short space of time, and then he can go and sit in front of the sofa and be himself again. But he's still got to wear that physique and frame of the person that's put on all the weight. You know, he still had to be that character for that time, in a way. So, you know, it looks like he's kind of lost and getting back to himself.
Which is my favorite fruit ever. Yeah. Oh, you're good bird. Oh, Mr. Noodle. I knew you liked that. You missed me so much. You missed me so much.
When he's saying that, to me, it feels like he missed himself so much. Like, he wishes he could have just done these nice videos eating noodles with his bird on the internet promoting veganism, but it wasn't going to get him where he needed to go, and it wasn't going to make the point he wanted to make. So instead he did this, and like, he sacrificed something in order to do it. I was calling him Fat Jesus earlier in my video, like facile, and making a bit of a joke, but like, I kind of mean that. You know, he sacrificed something to do this, hasn't he? And you can sort of see that in him, I think.
No, it was 8 years separate. Or longer. I know. How many years was it? How many years?
Did you not? I'm surprised, but except I suppose he moved out from where he used to live, and the bird must have stayed there, and he went to America and stuff. I don't know why he's separate from the bird, but the bird was in his vegan content way back, which isn't now on his channel, which is a bit of a shame. But his bird was in his vegan content way back, and for some reason he's had to be separate. Yeah. Like, I think this is what he means, though. It's like, you know, that 8 years where he started. It was like the moment he decided to be that big fat chuffer on the internet and to give up veganism and eat. There was a. He wasn't like the biggest YouTuber at the time. He wasn't the biggest vegan YouTuber at the time. But why I'm no longer a vegan YouTuber? Like, there was like there was a community, you know, thing, like, you know, it was a trending thing. There was a lot of veganism on YouTube. There were people with channels and everyone knew who each other was, and they were talking to each other and about each other and all that stuff, yeah? So, like, the vegan YouTube scene was a thing, and him saying, I'm going to give up veganism, like, being a YouTuber of any, not the biggest one or anything, but being a YouTuber that was vegan, turning around saying, I'm going to start eating meat on this channel and fuck you. Like, that was a thing. Like, his I'm no longer a vegan video was probably one of his most viewed videos at the time. Like, whether it was the biggest thing in the vegan world or not, it was a thing. And I think deep down, like, you know, whether he, because I'm a vegan out of choice, not out of dietary requirement or anything like that, so I could eat a hamburger, and although I've not eaten one for many years, I would imagine I'd probably still enjoy a hamburger. Like, it probably tastes reasonable to me. So, like, I'm not saying he had to eat a load of food that made him go, oh, I hate this, but like, sometimes he might have not felt like doing that, and he did it anyway, just to live the point, didn't he? So there is a lot in that.
Or longer. I know. How many years was it? How many years? Tell me. How many years were we separate for? Too many, yeah.
And you chuffers are all saying Ozempic as well, right? But the Ozempic didn't exist back then, so he decided to do this, I would imagine, and said to himself, I will get really fat and really popular, in inverted commas, and then I will lose the weight. You know, I imagine he said that at the start. Like, he had a plan at the start, and I don't think his plan was just fuck veganism. I'm going to show them by eating a load of food and show them how bad the food is. Let's hope it goes well. Like, he knew where it would go. Like, that was his point in previous videos about other people's diets and about the good vegan diet. So, like, instead he lived it to show them. So he must have felt in some way confident or worried that he would have to lose the weight at the end. So it must, like, and losing it in a process of about 7 months or a year and a half. I don't know how long he says it's been about 2 years in this video, and he's been uploading, or in one of the videos, like, and he's been uploaded, but, like, you know, it's not an easy process in itself, is it? But he's obviously done it, so, like,
I know, maybe.
You wonder if he's had a gastric ban. You see, again, I don't think that. No, I don't think he would have gone for those. Those sort of things are for the people that find themselves unable to do it. Like, his whole point is you should eat healthily and do some exercise, and you wouldn't have this problem. Like, you know, he was following a vegan diet, he was quite healthy, so I think he's probably just gone back to following a vegan diet and being quite healthy, and the weight has just dropped off, because it would. Like, big ups Anonymous Gifter, thank you for the sub. Jay Wusso picked that up. Where's the loose skin, though? I don't know how much, like, he wasn't as obese as some of those others that we watch. Like, he was more big, portly around the tummy, and you can't see that. And I think in the video that we just saw when he takes off the hat, like, I think his arms do look a little bit misshapen around the upper there. Hang on. Around the upper bicep. Some people might have, have already questioned whether he would have done something about the loose skin, this, and this, but his upper bicep there, that just appears to be a little bit of a stretchy, misshape. I just think he's like, I think crash dieting, you might have loads. I don't know, I'm not an expert on that, so I shouldn't really comment, but the fact is, right, I've just shown you the videos of him getting really fat and it took years. So he'd have had to record this 7 years ago on a different camera. Like, it's not. This is him. This is today. Like, this is an older version of that young boy, not like just someone who shaved their head and had a cry. Like, look at him. Like, he's an older version of himself. I think there is a little bit on these arms, like at the back there, look, underneath the t-shirt. Like, if you're just skinny and you've always been skinny, then, like, I don't think you have that bit of loose skin there, maybe. So I think there is a little bit, but a little, and not like, I think he puts it on in places, like when he's doing this as well, he's leaning forward. You can see here on his stomach, on his body there, like a bit of shape there, can't you? Look. Around there. I wouldn't have that being skinny the whole time. Like, I think he's still got, some going on. Like, but I think he's done that. I think for reals he's done that.
Oh, you're so... Yeah. Oh, so much. I know. It was 8 years. A dream that... Yeah, it was like a really bad dream that we were waiting for it to be over. And...
Oh, he looks emotional. He looks really emotional. It's like a really bad dream that we were waiting for it to be over. I believe this. I called it years ago, and I believe it.
It's over. It was just a dream. It was just a dream, Mr. Noodle, wasn't it? Yeah. It feels like a bad dream. But we woke up. We woke up. Yeah. We're so excited. We woke up. Yay! We woke up from the bad dream. And, I'm back. And Mr. Noodle is back. And here we are. We're back home, shooby-doo. Say good morning, Mr. Noodle. Hey, how's it going? Back home, shooby-doo. Say good morning.
You can see his leg as well here. I mean, I don't want to be too much on this aspect of it, but he's not going to carry the weight so much in these places, but you can see his leg there as well. Like, looks less toned. Less than toned, if you know what I mean. And if you're naturally skinny and you've not put on that weight, like this extra underneath here feels like, he's still carrying a little bit there in a way that wouldn't have naturally been there. I don't know, I might be wrong, in that. I just feel like if you saw him before and after naked, before, during and after, you would say, oh, I can see it now. But he's wearing clothes and he's on the internet, and it's like there's a wrinkle to his arm here, around the back of it. A wrinkle to it. I'm saying yeah. His face looks tight, yeah. I mean, some people have suggested he might have had some sort of surgery or done something, to cosmetically, because, being vain. But, like, I just think you work hard at the journey and it comes off and you look better. And it looks drastic and better. But underneath it, like with most people who are overweight, underneath you've still got quite a decent body. It's just that there's a layer on top of it, like a big heavy wet jumper. So you remove it, and then underneath you look quite good, I think.
Hey, Mr.
Big up, Seb.
Noodle. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my studio. For the second time. They don't know that we did.
Plus the editing choices and stuff, like, you wouldn't have made these editing choices. Like, we're talking if it had to be before he put on the weight, because we all agree he put on the weight. People have seen him, like, it would have to be like years ago, and it wouldn't. Yeah, the editing choices, everything, like.
This yesterday, I'm actually going to tell them we did this yesterday. We are redoing the video because my file got corrupted, I don't know how, and it had like an error mark on it when I was editing it. I'm like, oh my god. But this is the universe telling me I have to eat more, right? Right, Mr. Noodle? You are so cute. How's it going, Mr. Noodle? Did you miss me?
Actually,
miss all
there's a
that.
worry in that, is that he said it's been like a bad dream, but now we've woken up and this is the universe telling me to eat more. There is a worry that I wonder, like, we don't see how he lost the weight, and actually it could be a negative on, like, what I'm saying is that I thought it's a positive that he's showing that you can lose the weight, but he hasn't shown you how he lost it. So maybe it's not good if he did some sort of weird crash diet and starved himself, and maybe the bad dream is that he's not been eating properly for the 7 months, and now he's woken up for it and can start eating again because he's hit this low weight that he wanted to. Like, there is a sense of, like, you know, dangerousness to this attitude to the weight gain and loss, instead of it. But like, I think I would have felt more comfortable if this had been a release of a video of his fitness journey. You know, and you never saw it, but I started going to the gym and I started doing the press ups and I ran every day and I eat this for my dinner and this is my weight loss vlog, and like, you know, that would be better than just like, I'm here, the weight is gone, so deal with it anyway. So I'm kind of mentally imbalanced now as well. Like, you know, that would be slightly, yeah.
Peasants. Hey, it's been like 8 years. Are you gonna say hi? I might put little pieces here and there when I'm editing this for you guys to kind of see what we did yesterday, which was black bean noodles. But we're gonna do it again for a second time. These are my favorite spicy noodles of all time. If I had to choose one, it would be black bean noodles, wouldn't it, Mr. Noodle? I love them, they're so good, and these come from a Chinese Korean place. And
also, when I heard that Nikocado Avocado had done something dramatic, I thought he might have done something, you know, bad to himself. No, I shouldn't talk like that, really, should we? But like, you know, I thought he might have like done something extra dramatic, but he does seem emotional here, and I think he would be.
they make them hand pulled and they stretch them out by hand. You can see them in the restaurant going like this. They're super chewy. They're very chewy and very, very long. I actually think they cut them to make it easier for you to slurp them. The spicy black bean noodles. They are... Oh, baby. I love you. I really missed you. I missed you a lot, Mr. Noodle.
But also,
It was long.
like, imagine this. I still can't get my head quite around this, because I was watching these. I was making my own vegan videos back in the like at the same time as. I mean, would I say that oldest? 10 years ago, 7 years ago, Nikocado Avocado, isn't it? I think I wasn't I? 8 years ago, I had to meet vegans. Yeah, I was making vegan videos at the same time, interested in the same sort of topics, aware of who he was. Like, aware of all those other vegan content creators. I was definitely not a big vegan content creator, but I was making videos, yeah, talking about veganism and stuff. So, like, the journey he went on, like, God, like, imagine giving up that amount of time in your life and coming back to your life. Like, imagine walking out of your house and saying, right, I'm going to go and live somewhere else and eat burgers and just fucking be someone else. And we're going to do that, and then 7 years, and you can walk back in the door and say, oh, thank God, it's great to be home. Work is done. And not just work is done, great to be home, but I'm now basically a millionaire, I think he would be. Like, I would be surprised if he'd not put away enough money to be very comfortable with that huge, and like his success on YouTube, you know, his big numbers of views, his merchandise, all that was going on for years. So you all think he's had surgery and this and that. I honestly don't. I think his diet previously and his because it was rapid weight gain, and he did it by changing his behavior. I think he could just, like, I don't know about numbers, but I think that, you know, if he went back to eating a healthy, balanced vegan diet and did exercise, it's going to drop off. It's going to fall off. Like, he seems much more balanced and real in this video than he has done for the last number of years on his content, but...
Long dream. As I said, that dream has come to an end. It was just a dream, thank God. It's all over. We were just dreaming. I just took off the fat suit, went whoosh. Yeah, I just took it off, and here I am. And I noticed yesterday when I ate it, it had a lot of onion, a lot of, like, vegetables and pork
also,
and potato.
You're saying going straight back to mukbangs. He was doing mukbangs before Like, he was doing mukbangs, but they were vegan mukbangs, and like mukbangs weren't always about consuming gluttony. And this is another reason he was so cross at these mukbangers, is because mukbang came from Asia, and it was about social eating. So the original mukbangers didn't actually have to eat a challenge, or like, they would eat vegetables and noodles and things, and like nice, like, it's like sharing good vegan food. You know, it's like sharing the food, and it's socially eating and talking together. And these other people, the obese people and the all-you-can-eat challenge people, turned it into a grotesque of what it was. So he was angry at them as well, I suppose. So now he can go back to mukbangs, and there might be a lot of noodles on the plate, to be honest. That is still on brand, I suppose. I mean, it's a shame I can't go and watch his vegan mukbangs from before, because I'm sure there would still have been quite a lot of, like, the reason there looks like quite a lot of food is because if I get my clipboard, I've got a clipboard here for a video, and I put the clipboard right there under the camera. Hang on. I don't really need to do the buttons to explain this, do I? In fact, I'm fucking about. But you put the food right up under the camera like that, and then you make a big, like, pile of it. You spread. Foodie Beauty does this in Kuwait. She spreads it out on the platter. Now, if you put it in a normal serving bowl, it wouldn't look as much. If you took it and put it in front of you instead of in front of the camera, it wouldn't look as much. But they tilt it to the camera. They use a lens that distorts and widens as you get closer to the camera. They pile it up. They do. But realistically, like... And also, Nikocado was probably one of those that never finished it all. Realistically, it's about creating that thumbnail image rather than trying to be a huge glutton. Interesting for Nico, I suppose, is that, like I said beforehand, that mukbang thing was going that way. Not a huge gluttony, but, you know, big portions, showing them all to camera. And after his journey, you know, making a video where he's eating something, it would seem a bit weird to just eat a normal sized portion. But I think he probably should have done. Or maybe he just still enjoys eating loads. Because, like, if you eat this every now and then, it's not the same as if you're Foodie Beauty, like, consuming processed food every day for breakfast. Like, you can actually occasionally have a bit of a big noodles meal. Like, there's no processed animal in it. There's no, like, you know, it's carbohydrates and vegetables, isn't it? Quite a lot of salt, but, like, yeah. Alan's been doing mukbangs, just eating crisps and drinking gin. I would fucking love to see it.
Ooh. You love your mushy peas. Cheers, everybody.
And also, this would have been...
To a new era.
To a new era. This would have been, like, when he was doing the videos before, like, sometimes you would have had, like, two people sharing a plate, and, like, you know, it's like social eating, like I said, so it would have been piled up as, like, a sort of, come on everybody, have a bit, and there were two of them maybe, not three or four, but, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, it makes it's a bit like if I was to do like a Christmas dinner mukbang, and I just plated up myself a little plate of Christmas dinner. What you'd probably more like to see on the video is the turkey. I mean, vegan here, so don't eat the turkey, but, you know, but like the turkey, the vegetables, the, you know, you'd want it all on the plate and all in visual. Do you know what I mean? It's like creating a big. So I don't know. Does he eat all this in the video? No.
I think it's a Korean thing.
No, he gets nowhere near eating it all. Oh no, wait. Is he eating all of that? No way. He is.
It's spicy. It's my favorite noodle. If I ever show up on like one of those quizzes or game shows, what was Nikocado Avocado's favorite noodle?
Weird this is. I need to give this a proper watch. If I ever show up in one of those quizzes or game shows, like, he's definitely got delusions of grandeur going on. Like, but then he's probably got an agent or people he's talking to about making this next move, about which podcast to go on and where to turn up, because he's about to make this big splash. You know, if he's got any sense about him, he would have talked to people, because he must have had, you know, you're talking to someone who's doing millions of views on their YouTube, who's created this massive brand and a character. Like, there must be people that they're talking about it with, agencies behind the scenes. Maybe it's determined that his brand includes eating the fucking thing of the noodles, so he's going to do that as well still. I'm surprised by this aspect of it.
So like, this is my like last meal type of thing.
Oh, this is my last meal type of thing, right?
It really is. Did people know that I like spicy noodle? I mean, people knew I like spicy noodles.
Oh no, if this was my last meal, maybe. I thought he was just going to say I'm signing off from the channel with one last mukbang, but I'd have to watch it in more depth because I'm not watching it fully through now tonight. But that's the Nikocado Avocado story up to date, and he's got other channels as well. Like, I thought he had other YouTube channels, like a vlog. Well, I think this is the channel. I don't know, but he's definitely got like, you know, TikTok and Instagram and all them. So maybe there's slightly different content on there. Because I thought there was another video as well. I thought there were 2 videos since he came back, but I'd have to check Alex for that actually. Because Alex was talking about it earlier.
Welcome back to Shook Afternoon. Yummy. Looser. Wouldn't there be more loose skin? I don't. Or. It's not.
This is so ironic that wasn't even real. Gaining weight for clicks and to fool people? Oh, trust me. You don't mean that much. I don't care about you that much. I really don't. That I'm gonna waste 6 years of my life gaining weight to entertain you. I don't think so. He breaks character.
And what other reason was it for?
By this evil genius. Oh my god.
Money.
I literally typed up a Batman monologue and read it.
Okay, that's just.
It wasn't just money. He was a. I spelled it all out. He was a principled vegan who wanted to make a point about these horrible mukbangers and what a bad, you know, example they're setting. And he couldn't get enough views talking about it straight on. I mean, it wasn't the only thing he talked about, but I don't even remember him ever talking about it, to be honest. But, you know, he was a vegan YouTuber who had principles, and he wasn't getting enough views being a vegan YouTuber. So he decided to make a very dramatic change and become the antithesis of everything he was interested in, and it proved a point, I think. I think so, anyway. But I was looking to see if he did 2 videos. I think he's only done 1 video. I got it into my head that he dropped 2 videos. No, he's only done the 1 video. He's dropped the 1 video, so that's the Nikocado Avocado situation. Like, I should really, with my previous video that I've made, thank you very much, already covered it once 2 years ago. I thought that was quite a good video in my early streaming career, but it's not that good a video editing wise and everything, just, you know. But maybe I'll put this up on YouTube and just throw it up on Battery Exhausted, because I think we made some interesting points. So if it does end up there, you be good, and if you can't be good, you're naughty on YouTube. So maybe I'll throw that up for tomorrow. But like, I should be more on the. This morning at 6 in the morning when he dropped this video, I should have just jumped on the internet, said all this, got it up there straight away. But I don't know. You know, I don't know.